Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's your friend Bats. My name is Jared, and today I want to talk about how comics matter. And but up front, at the top of the video, I want to say thank you to everyone who clicks on my videos, who takes the time to watch or listen to my videos and interacts with them, that like them or dislike them, who comment on them, and shout out to people like Clone Geek 3317 who watches a lot of my videos and comments on a lot of them. It means a lot to me, and I really do enjoy the conversation with other comic book fans. Comics are a huge part of my life. They're a big part of my identity, and that's because in my crazy life of having medical issues and family issues, they are one consistent thing in my life, through the good times and through the bad times. When I left home for the first time, I guess the only time, but when I left home, it wasn't really by choice, and I was in quite a pickle, and something that came out on the shelves was Batman 608. And that is, if you don't know, that's the first issue of Hush. And what was happening in Batman was a great escape from the harsh reality of my life at the time. And it felt so big and so fun and important. But, now we're now in Hush 2, and a lot of people don't like Hush 2. And a lot of people over the years have went back and reanalyzed the original Hush and rag on it. And that is fair. You can go back and reread something and don't like it. That happens to me. But for me personally, when I think of Hush, there's a bigger connection than, it's just, it's another Batman story. It's a classic Batman story. Jim Lee, like there's a bigger connection for me to that story. And so in this comment you're seeing on screen here, Clone Geek is saying this run isn't going to matter. And then it's the Joe Kelly, Pepe Larraz Amazing Spider-Man that's currently coming out. And that may be so for him, and that's fine. I respect that. But for me, this story is really important. I'm enjoying it straight up. I'm enjoying it. I love the story so far. I love the art, and I'm having a good time with this comic. I look forward to reading each issue. Issue 5 is out tomorrow, which I'm going to miss until I can get to a comic shop. But I'm really looking forward to reading the next issue of Amazing Spider-Man right now. And that's because, again, there's some harsh realities in my life right now where I'm going through some serious medical situations with my heart, and everything's kind of up in the air right now, and it's a harsh reality that I live with. But Spider-Man is consistent, Spider-Man is going to come out every 2 weeks or once a month. There's going to be a new Amazing Spider-Man comic. And right now, in my harsh reality of life, I'm having a good time. I'm what comics are meant to be are escapism. And so I get to read a new issue of one of my favorite characters of all time on an adventure, And so when Clone Geek says it doesn't matter, well, it does. It matters to me. And I'm the customer. I'm the one buying it. So it does matter. And I've listened to interviews of Joe Kelly, and the guy kind of pour his heart out on the sleeve and tell like how this story matters to him, and how like I haven't heard Pepe Larraz talk about it, but this guy is getting to draw the Amazing Spider-Man. So it like whether some customers, some comic book buyers or comic book pirators say it doesn't matter, to some people it really does. And to Joe Kelly, who's getting to come back and write Amazing Spider-Man, to me it feels like he's really like swinging for the fences. Whether you like it or not, to me he's swinging for the fences. I really like the story. Pepe Larraz is incredible. My best friend Bruce, he hasn't ever read a monthly Spider-Man comic. He's read stories here and there, but because my comics come with a digital code, I send him a picture of it and he gets to read it. And so him and I get to share the story together in this time of our lives. And so that matters. And comics matter. There's a much bigger connection with I feel like with comics. A lot of people, if you don't get it, you don't get it. And I think like Wednesday Warriors and people who've been reading comics for a really long time get it. There's a stronger emotional connection to some of these characters. And this is why people get really angry, myself included, about some of the choices that are made in comics with the creative team, the production team, the talent, the editors, the corporations. They get really upset, and I understand, because with something like, let's just say, Spider-Man movies, for example. You go see the movie, you go to a place, you pay your $20, you get your $20 popcorn, you spend $100 for you and your lady to go see a movie, and you walk out going, oh yeah, that was good. Or, it was all right. Or, it sucked. I don't really like it. And then you maybe have like a day or a couple of days at work the next following thing, and you tell your coworkers or your classmates, oh yeah, this was really good, this movie sucked, whatever. But then you kind of just move on with your life. And then a couple of years come by, and then a sequel, right? That's to me the movie experience. But with comic books, they come out every week. And your character can either come out once a month or twice a month, whatever, right? And so, and you don't just go to a place and spend a lot of money and then talk about it with like anyone and everyone because it's easy to. Like, there's a more personal connection. You buy your comic book, you take it home, and you might sit on it for a couple of days. And then, for me personally, I read comic books in my bed. Like, I sit on my bed. Some people sit on their couch. They have their little comic rooms. That's amazing. But there's a more personal connection to it, where a movie is just X amount of minutes long. But a physical comic book, you can sit in your room or wherever and enjoy it however long you want it to take. And you can go back and really just like, don't even read the words, but really just analyze the art, or do the opposite. You just really analyze the dialogue. There's a much more physical connection to the comic book than there is to like a movie or a TV show. And there's this collection, right? You're buying an item, you're collecting, and you're having these numbers, and you're building something. And so I understand when people say like, oh, this isn't gonna matter. But for a lot of other people, sorry, I keep needing to to burp, but it does matter. And so, because there's this connection. And so I understand when people are upset about a direction of their favorite character not being the direction that they want. And to them, it doesn't matter. But to other people reading it, it does. And so, I did a video. I got a little angry in it, I think. But I did a video saying that the Spider-Man fans are never going to be happy. There's never going to be a collected consciousness where we all agree that this is good. But where comics really matter is the connection between the buyer/reader and the character and the everything between the writer, the artist, the inker, the colorist, the editor, the assistant editor, the letterer, the reader, the retailer, the distribution. There's such a chain of creation, and every individual involved, from the writer all the way to the reader, it matters to someone. And whether you as a reader and collector don't buy a title and think, oh, well, this sucks, it doesn't matter. Well, it matters to other people. And so, and I understand that this comment is also like in the grander scheme of continuity. Oh, this run isn't going to matter. Well, we can't really predict the future here. I had said in the other comments, if you find this comment section, I said, like this run is going to matter, because in this run we're going to have issue 975 of Amazing Spider-Man and possibly issue 1000 of Amazing Spider-Man. So the Joe Kelly run could potentially really matter in the grand scheme of things, just numbers wise. And for retailers, like Amazing Spider-Man 1000 it's gonna sell some numbers. It's gonna put some food on some people's tables, and so that really does matter. And whether the story and continuity of it all is good, that's a whole nother story. I think it will be, because I've been enjoying Joe Kelly, but that's just my personal opinion. And so I guess to wrap this video up, I just love comics so much. They bring me so much joy. And I love talking comics with people. Like, I don't have a ton of comic friends. I have the internet, I think, and that's a lot of us. And so I do really not just love reading comics, but I love talking about comics with other people. I love sharing different opinions and hearing other opinions. Like, there are opinions on comics that I go, this thing is terrible, I don't like it, but I will watch a YouTube video or listen to it. Like when I walk my dog, I listen to a lot of YouTube. I will listen to someone, explain why they love something that I don't like. And I think that's really important, because it gives us a different perspective on something we do or don't like. Like, I have gotten a lot of traction, comparatively to what my channel used to have, by saying something that a lot of people disagree with. And I'm not trying to do that for the sake of having a disagreement. It was just me as a Spider-Man fan going, why is everyone on this Mary Jane bandwagon? Because I don't get it. And I thought I did, but the more I think about it, the more I don't get it. And it's fun to have the discussions. And so, on that note, I love comics, and I think that they matter, and like every comic matters because in a little, it's a little hyperbolic, but each comic created is just a tiny miracle that art was created and is out into the universe. And to someone who poured their heart and soul onto a pen and paper or into a tablet or computer, whatever, and then it became a physical tactile item that someone then takes home and reads and then like preserves it in plastic and puts it in a box or puts it on a shelf or shares it with a friend. That stuff matters. And so that's it. So thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.